And this has become a regular on a Friday night. We've got this.
Ship the hell off.
Ship off.
Ship off. Ship off. Find a little boat and ship the hell off. Jim, we're all eagerly awaiting the Ashes tour, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Right. Very, very interested in some comments made by former England off-spinner Graeme Swann.
Oh, come on, Swanny.
Who started some very outspoken criticism of Steve Smith's batting technique, who we all know has a very unique batting style.
Yep.
But it seems to be reasonably effective. And he said he won't make runs in England. Now, this is a bloke that only a few years back made 138 not out at the Oval, which
That's
I think's in England, isn't it?
Last time we checked.
And I just did a little bit of research, Jim. So in 2014, Steve Smith made 1,146 runs at an average of 81.85
in
with
Test
his 5
cricket.
tons in Test cricket, yep. And in 3 tests in 2015, he's got 471 runs at an average of 117 with 2 tons.
There we are.
Now, does Graeme Swann forget that it was Steve Smith who started hitting his pies out of the park in 2014 in Australia?
He appears to have.
Until he was forced to retire mid-tour?
That's it.
I think there's a little bit of bitterness there. So, Swanee, you can ship off.
Yes.
Just very quickly, Steve and Danky got a life ban from the AFL, pretty much says it all. Ship Danky. Wanted to talk a little bit of tennis today, Jim.
I like that.
Ship Danky.
Thank you.
John Tomic. Speaking of outspoken criticism, has launched a tirade on Tennis Australia, in
Bernard's old
particular Pat Rafter, saying...
He didn't have a go at Pat, did he?
Yep, saying it's very political. And they're dirty over the fact that the funding for Sarah has stopped.
Who's that?
His daughter.
Okay. Yep.
And so as a result, Bernard's now not playing Davis Cup in Darwin. Very important, I think it's a quarter-final tie against Uzbekistan.
As a protest.
Well, the old man tends to make the decisions. And Pat Rafter, to his credit, has been very strong and said the disappointing part from our side is when you invest so much money in an individual, and it's been an incredible amount of money invested in the Tomics, ridiculous amounts. He says, we've decided we're now not going to support kids whose parents are vocally against everything we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. So Pat's done it for us. Ship off, Johnny boy. And while we're talking tennis, I love Nick Kyrgios. Met him a number of times down the tennis centre, ripping bloke. He's got some style, he's an entertainer. He is a star, and he's flying the flag for Australian tennis, but desperately needs some media training. Been quoted this week in the papers over in Europe. He said, I don't really like the sport of tennis that much. I don't love it. I got pushed by my parents, and I can still say I don't love the sport. He'd rather be playing basketball, to be brutally honest. And he was a very talented junior basketballer. But given that he's going to make tens of millions of dollars and he's driving flash cars and living a reasonable lifestyle, do you think perhaps he could pay a little bit of respect to the sport that is going to provide that lifestyle for him? And let's face it, there's a lot of people in day-to-day life that don't get to do what they love, in inverted commas, for a living. So just take it and move on and stop being respectful, Nick, and ship off.
Chief,
I like that.
Am I allowed to interject?
No. But I do need your help here, because
you should mentor Kyrgios. You should take him under your wing.
I'll be revisiting the Kyrgios.
Right.
A couple of things have come to my attention.
Yes, please.
Wokka.
Oh,
no.
We're all about loyalty and staunch support for what we believe in.
That's the way it works.
You're a North Melbourne man, are you not?
Yes.
Did you bet against them last week?
Yes.
I didn't bet against
Did
it.
you
Yes.
bet against?
I bet against the line.
Yes, he did.
Under
Chief.
sufferance with
Chief.
Under
with
suffering.
your
You
man,
bet
Danny
against North Melbourne.
That's what he did.
So what you need
not
to
to
do,
lose the
you
game.
bet against
Not
North
to lose the
Melbourne.
game, Chief.
You need to put your sailor's hat on, Wokka, because you are shipping off, my friend. And finally,
Yes.
there's a couple of members of the Triple M team that won't be here next week.
Yeah,
They're going on holidays.
Long service.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently they go on holidays mid-year, Gaz,
No question
and
of that.
leave the rest of us to carry the load.
In the middle of the
Who's
football
going,
season.
Chief?
Yes.
Necessary.
In the middle of the football
Julian
season.
Brayshaw and Liam Darcy are both going overseas, and while you're hopping on the ship, I hope it doesn't return. So ship off both of you, and we're done.
I like it.
It's a
Shipped us
double
off.
ship off at
Yeah,
the end.
shipped and called you Leon.
What about that? Chief.
That was a good ship off, Chief.
When
I-
you want to revisit the Kyrgios shipping off?
Yeah.
6 out of 10.
Now, I would suggest in any other forum,
Yes.
Nick Kyrgios would cop an almighty cook from our man, the Chief,
Yes.
because that is the sort of behaviour that the Chief just
Abhors.
and would treat with disdain and give it a real serious clip. You've been seduced by Nick. You've admitted to meeting
Met him.
down at the tennis centre, and it's compromised your attitude
It
towards
was more of a name drop than a ship off.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
think you're right.
Well said,
I
Luke.
think you're right.
Me and
Luke.
old Kyrgios used
Me
to hang
and,
out.
yeah,
Oh,
Kira.
Oh, Kizza.
All I'm doing
He's
Is
eating a
inhaling,
McDonald's burger.
Cutting a young man a bit of slack.
You don't cut anyone's slack.
Everyone gets a second chance.
No, they don't with you.
Everyone gets
No,
a
they
second
don't. You
I'm
would
still
normally.
working with you, so obviously I do give a second chance.
It gets personal,
Everybody gets a second
instantly
chance.
personal.
Now listen.